You know, good afternoon, guys. This is Girish here on another episode of the SEO Melbourne podcast. I'm here with one of my clients and we've had a business relationship for quite a while, Jim from Letitia Morris. Jim owns a gallery called Letitia Morris, which is located in, where is it? On High
Armadale.
Street, Armadale, right? Yes.
That's it.
Perfect. So, Jim, just wanted to welcome you on our podcast and, wanted to have a bit of a chat to you about Letitia Morris and Letitia Morris's growth over the last couple of years with the online traffic and sales, as well as, of course, a bit about your history. So why don't we kick it off? Tell me a bit about, when Letitia Morris started.
Yeah, sure. So the gallery started in 1993. That's when the initial owner started to import original vintage posters to Australia. And from then on, they kept the gallery here. And forever since, they've been specializing in original vintage posters. And now I am the co-owner and the operator of the gallery.
Okay, that's good. So, when you guys when this the gallery was started, did you guys have sort of a vision in mind, as in, you're going to only stick to original vintage posters? Tell me about the original vintage posters and the artists that you currently have in store. What are the most famous artists that are currently displayed in your store and that are bought a lot?
Yeah, sure. So I think that in 1993 they essentially started to import and source valley posters, which are pretty common now, and there's probably lots of reproductions around because they've been copied. So these French posters and valley was designed by a famous French poster artist called Vilmo. So we've got lots of Vilmo posters.
Yeah.
And another one that's quite famous is Savignac.
Yep.
We've got some also, Art Deco posters like Cassant, who's probably the most famous poster artist, sorry. Goyot, who's also a great fashion artist, who did lots of posters for Blizon, so very, kind of Vogue-esque.
Yep.
And also we now specialize also in, more contemporary artists that are still alive and that have designed great posters in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
And we're still looking at, contemporary artists that have, they have the potential of designing great original posters.
Yeah. So, just to get a bit of an idea with this poster shop, with your gallery, you do offer a lot of other services, along with the posters. Can you, give me a bit of insight into that? You do offer framing as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, essentially, when someone wants to buy a poster, if they're located in Australia, then we do frame the poster for them.
Yeah.
So that's an add-on. It's a service we offer, and we work with really good high quality framers that frame for the museums.
Yep.
So that's one of the services, and also, obviously the transport that goes with it. And then there's also another service. It's linen backing. So linen backing essentially is when a poster is linen backed onto canvas paper, and that's to preserve the poster and keep it in good condition. Yeah.
And so linen backing posters, like, how would they typically last a lot longer than traditional original?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. It's a great way to conserve the poster because
how long do you reckon?
much stronger.
Like years and years? Are we talking about
Oh yeah,
decade? A decade or a century maybe?
Yeah, you'd think so. If it's kept somewhere safe, if it's not out in the weather, if it's kept in a nice little room, nice little tube, cozy.
That's good.
It'll last for a long time.
And that's interesting. So tell me a bit about over the last, I think, a bit more than a decade, online, having an online presence has become pretty important. And, I've noticed that I've taken a look at your web archive of your website, and, over the years, I've noticed that you have invested in starting to build a website, I think since 2007, 2008.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
I
tell
think
me a bit about that. Like, when did you guys decide that it was time for you to take the plunge and go online? And what
sure.
was the initial, like initially, were you looking to just, have information about your gallery online? What was the aim of your initial websites versus the current website that you have, which is of course a fully functional e-commerce platform?
Yeah, I think the initial purpose of going online was to have an online catalog, so people would be able to go online and
Yeah.
instead of browse through all the posters in the gallery, they could do that at home. So give them a good idea of what we had
Yeah.
and what we could offer. So yeah, it was more an online catalog, but maybe it lacked a lot of details. It was just, let's say, an online photo library where someone could just flick through posters. And then I think gradually then it's, more details was added and
Yeah.
became more complex and more powerful,
Yeah. No, for sure. And
more informative.
yeah, and how would you deal with, like say for instance, because you've got a pretty diverse clientele, right, across Australia. You've got
Yeah,
clientele in different parts of Australia. So,
yeah, and worldwide too.
well, yeah, of course, in the US and France as well. So, like,
That's it.
what initially, what was the protocol? Say if someone wanted a poster from, say, Sydney or some other city, they would just call you up, and then you would organize the logistics to get the poster delivered to them, or
Yeah, I think it was quite simple back in the day. Maybe someone would ask for, I mean, that was, I guess, obviously the good thing about going online is that you would get more people from interstate that would be able to see your posters and then
yeah,
order one from you, after a few emails and a few photos and a few exchanges, then they would have the confidence to buy it. And
right,
then you'd obviously you'd have to ship the poster, and you probably wouldn't frame it, but
yeah,
you'd ship it in a strong tube, and
yeah.
off it went.
All right. And so when did you decide that, it was time to move to an e-commerce business model for your online sales, at least? Was it sort of when did you guys decide that to decide to make that jump?
Oh, I didn't decide it. I think you decided on that. You made me do it.
Yeah.
No, I think we decided, maybe online e-commerce. I mean, the thing is, we always had a website, but you couldn't, buy directly on the website.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to inquire, and then,
Hmm.
after a couple of emails, would make a sale. But
Yeah.
we went fully e-commerce, I think, about, I say 2-3 years ago,
Two,
maybe,
3 years
yeah,
ago.
maybe 2-3 years ago, yeah.
Okay, so this was just about the time we were in contact, and I think you'd got that initial, WordPress website. So was it like
Yeah,
fairly new when we just started having conversation around SEO?
yeah,
Yeah, it
I think
was
that,
around then, right?
yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, and see, with SEO is a pretty, there are loads of cowboys out there in the industry, like people who just want to, make a quick buck. They don't really actually provide you with a lot of input and insights into what it actually takes to rank your website. And
Mm.
I think initially when you came with the website, we had a bit of we did have a couple of conversations around how we need to make your website a lot more functional in order to get results. And playing the long game is pretty important because your website's information architecture and a lot of functionality, as well as being content rich, of course, are pretty important vital factors for SEO. So, I mean, what do you think with this? With the new website, have you had some good wins with online sales
Yeah,
that have grown?
look, I think it was essential to make the website so that the consumer would be confident enough to buy directly
Yeah.
online
Yeah.
without communicating with you
Yeah.
directly or having
Mm.
an exchange with you.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a big improvement to make the website more functional and add a lot more information so that and also make it look more professional, I guess.
Yeah. And so, I do notice, with the website, you do have people buying directly online, but you also have a lot of people inquiring about a lot of your posters, right? Now,
Yeah.
so the people who inquire about your posters online, like, do they always convert online, or do they sometimes come into the store to pick it up to get actually a good look and feel of it? Like, what would you say the percentage of customers are that actually just contact you online, but then eventually come to your store to pick it up? I mean, of course, because of the pandemic,
Yeah.
not much would have happened in 2020, but I'm talking, say, pre-pandemic.
Yeah. I think maybe the people that are located in Melbourne that exchange with you online might have obviously more likely to come into the gallery to have a look at the poster,
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, people don't have time, and if they can see the poster with good photos,
Yeah.
if we can communicate well with them,
Yeah.
then they're definitely confident enough to just buy it without physically seeing it or touching it. So I think I'd say that probably about 40% of our sales
Yeah.
are people that buy essentially online.
Yeah.
So those that don't come to the gallery
Yeah.
and purchase from the gallery.
So 40% online, you'd say 60%.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and that's a mix from emails and also a mix from website.
Yeah, from people searching for the posters directly.
Yeah,
For sure.
that's it.
And so, like in terms of the 2020 as a year, it's been a challenging year for most businesses. I'm sure, the brick and mortar establishment, your store would have definitely, no one would have been allowed in 2020. So online, would have been a pretty vital role, and it's good, we launched your website just before the pandemic hit. I think in Feb 2020 was when we launched the new version, right? Which was good from from I guess a timing point of view. It was pretty awesome. So what do you think the future holds for e-commerce? Because of course e-commerce has accelerated in 2020, but now and of course the pandemic procedures are still in place, and everyone, not all businesses are functioning at 100% capacity yet. But what do you think, in the coming years, once things settle down with the pandemic, do you think that there would be a similar number of people purchasing, or even more number of people purchasing your products online? Or do you think you would get back a lot of people coming into your store?
No, I think there's definitely been a shift, and I think people are now have gained confidence in buying online. So I think that we'll see those online sales growing, and they've definitely grown like massively in 2020. With us, with the gallery, with our posters, people have had the confidence to buy directly on our website without any direct communication with us. And I can still see at the moment that people are happy to just buy online and not come in. Depends for everyone, but I think that there's definitely a big growth in people just directly buying online.
Yeah. And do you when coming to my next point with online purchases, and of course the use of Afterpay, because Afterpay has become pretty massive in the last couple of years. It has grown in stock share value. People don't want to be held, don't want to be stuck with credit cards. They'd rather have a system like Afterpay that allows them to make the payments in easy installments, but not have issues with it. Not having huge credit liabilities. What do you think? I mean, has implementing Afterpay, has it actually made a difference to the number of people that would traditionally buy online, or what are the kind of customers you think use Afterpay?
Yeah, I think from our experience, we've seen that, younger people are using Afterpay for our posters, and they're purchasing posters that are in the lower expensive bracket. So, in between $500 and $1,000.
Yeah.
They probably they go for that price.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think for our product, it's been a little bit more difficult with Afterpay because it's priced quite high. So it reaches, I think Afterpay reaches a cap of $2,000, and then you can't purchase.
Yeah. So there are loads of posters that are not not possible to get.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point.
And yeah, I think our clientele, they might use Afterpay.
Yeah.
But when they buy a poster, it seems like they're just willing to just pay for it straight away.
Straight up.
All of it.
Especially because you are targeting a certain, a certain audience that actually has the purchasing power to, buy these posters outright.
Yeah, but it's definitely given the maybe the opportunity for others that that are wishing to have an installment payment, it's giving them the access to purchase a poster from us. So that's great. We're happy about that.
That's good. That's good. And so now touching upon some final points with what's in store for Letitia Morris in the coming years? Like what do you guys plan to do? Are you looking at diversifying your business in different streams within the vintage poster space? Is there anything that is exciting and buzzing in the vintage poster space that would be that we could potentially even leverage on the website?
I think what we'd be looking at maybe this year is to add those services that we do offer, like framing and maybe even hanging and other services, and to add them to our website so they can be purchased online, and then they're interconnected. And you're not only just buying the product, which is the poster, but you can also add those services to your cart, and therefore it would facilitate the customer. So I think we'd be looking at that. That's in terms of online services. Or services we put online. In terms of in terms of posters, I think we're always looking to source better posters. So, and have a wider range of posters and try to get the best of the best, really. So I think that's kind of the goal for 2021. And to build the website, to always be on top of the website. I think having an online website, you need to be on top of it with all the details that's involved for each product, that are all updated, and your whole inventory is up to date, so there's no issues.
No, for sure. It's very important. I mean, even making sure that your website is maintained properly is pretty important, because if any plugins clash or any issues are caused within the website that affect the user experience, it would be really bad from an organic traffic point of view, which we all know how useful it is right now.
For sure.
So thanks for coming and having this chat with us today. We'll definitely come up with a new plan for some of the things that we could do with the website for 2021, and talk about strategy soon. But thanks so much for coming today.
That's all right, Girish. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep, you're welcome, and we'll be in touch soon. We'll have a hit of squash.
Yeah, let's do that for sure. I'm keen.
Sure.
Looking forward to it.
All right, cool. Thanks.